We are turning back on the mushroom operation. This is the second video in this video series showing how we grow mushrooms, and you get a chance to see us from the start to turn everything on and show you the whole process of this wild journey of growing mushrooms. So in the last video, we showed you our air filtration system for our laboratory. I'm right here in the second chamber of the lab. There are 3 doors to get into this thing. So that's door number 2, and this is door number 3. Behind me is the lab, and I'm gonna show you how we clean the lab. This thing has been sitting for 3 months while I've been in the States working my other job. And so, yes, it is an enclosed environment. Not many things get in here, but I bet those little persistent critters, without the filtration system turned on and keeping that air moving out, will have found their way in there. And so we're gonna clean this thing out. We're gonna clean it meticulously. How I'm gonna start is I'm gonna do something that we rarely ever do in the laboratory, and that's to sweep. The reason why we never sweep in the lab when it's running is because it kicks up dust into the air, and we don't really want that, all right? We want to get everything out. And then after that, I'm going to wipe all my surfaces down. What I use to wipe my surfaces is ethyl alcohol, potable alcohol. And then after that, I'm going to use a product called chlorine dioxide. I make my own. Another name people use for it is MMS. I use it for my lab and my grow rooms as a cleaning product. The reason why it is very strong, is very effective, and at the end of the day, it breaks down to salt, as opposed to bleach, where it can be hard to get rid of as an environmental toxin. So chlorine dioxide is a great way to go. I make a spray bottle of it. I'm gonna spray it on the walls, ceiling, floor, wipe them all down, and then I'm gonna come back through and spray and get a bunch of that chlorine dioxide in the air. The gas is what's gonna just fill this room. Since it is an enclosed room, the gas can fill through the room and kill anything in there. Very effective against that. So once I let that settle, I'm gonna, that'll stay as a gas for about 4 or 5 hours, and the next day I'm gonna come back in, I'm gonna go back in here and spray this thing again, create another gas before I turn back on the system. Then I'm gonna go outside, crank this thing back up. And then I also plugged in the laminar flow hood, placed it in a way to make a nice circular flow, so that when I hit this breaker right here, it should crank that up. So let's check that out. I don't know about y'all, but I can hear it. So that's my fan on the inside. That's the laminar flow hood. So that is doing a bit of a scrub of the air, right? So that is sucking the inside air and circulating it through a HEPA filter, actually 2 HEPA filters. So that's circulating the inside air, scrubbing any particulates that are in the air. And then I'm also gonna crank up the fans. We've got the pre-filters back on. So we have 2 things going on. We're gonna have fresh air pumping in and the other air circulating. So I'm gonna let that kind of go for a while before we come in here and inoculate our first Petri dishes. So here we go, you ready? I think it's this one. Oh yeah. We're back in action.